Okay, so it's a new job. This one's interesting because it's a combination of maintenance, but also he wants me to kind of pimp it up a little bit. If you take a look over here, where I'm pointing, these don't match up. This potentiometer is like crooked and dead. These seem fine. But what he wanted me to do was match up, like pimp it up. So like match these and get him new knobs and stuff like that. Obviously, if you look at the neck, especially down at this part here, it's pretty disgusting. Plus the frets need some polishing. Where I've marked it up is where there is some fret knocking, which means I gotta do just a little bit of fret leveling on this one. What was interesting about this though, so far anyways, that I just started, was like when I was taking off the strings, it took me forever to get the strings through. And I was like, what the heck's going on? They just wouldn't, you know, on a Strat, you just pick the string out and push it right through and it comes right out the back. And then I had to actually take off the back plate, which was, this is the back plate that was on this. And when I opened it up, I took a look inside and realized this isn't a standard Strat. Keep on recording there. This isn't a standard Stratocaster setup for what's called it's called a floating bridge, 2-point floating bridge. And this looks like something that should be used in a hospital. But then it got me thinking. I was looking at this and I said, I had originally told them that these aren't Fender saddles. It turns out the whole bridge is not Fender, and I looked at it, and it's actually made by Hipshot, which is a good brand, an alternative to Fender, not something I like, but it doesn't quite fit well, and that's why it was so hard to take the strings out. That's why I had to take the back plate out. And then I noticed that if you come over here, this is very, very strange setup. I mean, obviously poorly designed. This is where you would put the springs on a floating bridge like this. And whoever did this, well, didn't do a nice job. So, I mean, you have one kind of thing here and a completely different kind of thing here, and then a completely different kind of thing there. And yeah, something needs to be done about that, and I'm going to tell them about this. And if you look at the bridge, like, you still see the string sticking out, right? Can you?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to push some of the strings through, and they should just come out.
They won't come out.
They won't come out. I mean, I was able to get out like two of them, but they're stuck in there. So either there's something wrong with this bridge, or maybe this person hasn't changed his strings in like years, and I don't think so.
Are you gonna change the actual bridge, or?
It's too expensive. Well, I mean, unless he asks me to, but this is not a minor cost. But obviously there's something going on with this bridge. Because I should just be able to push these strings out and they just come out. Mm-hmm. And not only that, when the bridge assembly was in, there's a space here. Have you noticed this? Mm-hmm. So the bridge goes, the 2-point bridge goes here, right? And then it was with the springs, it was up against the back there, but when you cover it up, you're supposed to be able to see this part here, so that you can take out the strings, right? And that was the reason why I took this off. So I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see the bridge at all. I mean, if you look in there, you can't see the bridge. Well, you can't see, this part of the bridge.
Right place.
It's supposed It's supposed to be right here,
See.
right? You see where it is right now?
Yeah.
That's where a floating bridge is supposed to be. So it's poorly located. I'll have to talk to him about that. The other thing that I just noticed right now is I'll put these back for now. The other thing that I just noticed on this is that originally it's a 6-point bridge, and it's been changed to a 2-point bridge, which in and of itself is a little strange. Well, why would you do that? I mean, it's a kind of modification that I don't understand why somebody would do that, especially on a strat that's from the 1990s, like a real Fender American strat from the 1990s with a traditional bridge assembly, 6-point bridge. Why would you make this kind of modification? Not sure. But before we stop the recording, what I wanted to do, Mariana, was I wanted to actually, if you look at the screws here, they're all freaking rusted.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's some kind of water issue going on here. So why don't you hit pause, which may lead to stop. Do this now. But after I saw that the weirdness here, I was going to wait until tomorrow because I'm kind of tired. It is kind of late. And of course, you do this over days in order to make sure that you do a good job. But I'm really fascinated to see what other stuff has been modified on this guitar. I can tell you for sure that the screws being rusted is bizarre. Now, yeah, it is a late 90s Strat, so it could just be that it's a late 90s Strat. And I did tell him I'll change the screws. I mean, screws are like $1 for like 50 or something like that. But I'm interested in knowing what the heck's going on inside. So why don't we take a look, okay? Yep. So I'm opening this up now. Whatever I see, I'm seeing it for the first time. Take a look at, that's for, like, dude, change the screws. They're like $1 for like 50, but plus not only that, it's like, what the heck's going on here? Why is there, what's with the pickup assembly? And why is this pick so much, why pickup assembly? Yeah, why is this pickup, if you look, I don't know if you can see this, if you go down here, like this pickup is so low compared to these two. Yeah. And now I wouldn't ordinarily use like an electric screwdriver on this, but because it would strip the screws. I mean, I'm stripping it already, I can tell. But because I know I'm going to replace the screws. These screws actually look a little too big for Fender screws. But let's see what the heck's going on. He's going to want to see this too. Because this hip shot thing here that I was just describing, yeah. I'm not so sure he's going to be too happy about that. Because he bought it secondhand, and I was asking him questions about, well, why are these pickups like this and stuff like, and he just didn't have an answer. It's sort of like he didn't really know the history of the guitar. So, I mean, if he doesn't, there could be quite a few surprises. Hopefully nothing bad when we open this up. But I am fascinated. You like my shirt?
Pretty cool.
It is, isn't it? It's a John Lennon from the John Lennon, from the John Lennon collection of shirts. Can you believe that his estate has a
Sure.
a shirt collection to make money? John Lennon, the socialist, communist, free the world, save the planet, but let's make some money at the same time. All right, so here comes the big reveal. This is also way too loose and crooked, which makes me think it's maybe not Fender original, but here we go. Did I miss any screws? No. So this just pops out like this. Okay, so it's nice and clean on the inside, but it's not shielded.
No.
Shielding is,
Metal.
yeah, that metal stuff, or you can get shielding by paint. You can get shielding,
It has nothing.
painted shield. It doesn't have, which is something I'm gonna do for him. I'll shield this, because if you don't shield it, you just get a lot of noise. It would have serial numbers and codes, signatures, stuff like that. Unless this has been painted. But unless this has been painted, then I'm not so sure that this is an American body. But we'll find out. Now, I just saw something here. This is not a Fender switch.
Okay.
So that's a problem. And that's why this was kind of all loose, stuff like that. Somebody changed the switch on this. So I don't know who it's made by, but it's, I don't know, can you read the company there?
Cortek.
What is
Cortek.
Cortek. Yeah, I never
Supposed to
heard.
say Fender?
Yeah, I mean, plus Fender are very different. Plus, I just noted something else here. The pots are not the same. Notice you got one kind of pot here, you got one kind of pot there, and you got a different
Should be
kind
the
of,
same.
yeah. And it's got a really crappy capacitor, like Chinese capacitor. Fender American wouldn't do this. So I'm getting a little suspicious about this guitar. This looks like a good pot, like company either by Fender or by a company called CTS, but that's actually the one that needs to be changed because it's all kind of screwed up. These other two pots are okay mechanically, but they're not original. There's been work done here. And if you look at the pickups, so this is a Fender pickup, and I'll look up what kind of Fender pickup it is. This is a Fender pickup.
Has a date?
This is not a Fender pickup,
No.
which kind of explains
Why?
the difference there.
Yeah.
So he's got, I don't know what the heck that is, but it's not a Fender pickup. Or this is turning out to be a bit of a mystery.